Hi YouTube, I hope you're doing well today. I'm having a pretty good day. I was up a lot last night. Um, there was some kind of, and we live out in the country, but south of me it sounded like about maybe even 10 miles, but maybe not that far, but I could hear sirens going, like, oh geez, for like a solid half hour. Then it was like, another hour, it started up again and then kept on for just like into the early morning hours from like 3:30 or 4 until about 5 or 6. I don't know what was going on, but it reminded me of when my house burnt down because they came out and put the fire out and then it started back up in the walls and they didn't know that, they went back. I lived 9 miles out of town, about like I do right now. And so they went back to town and that was it. So it's like, well, I don't know what was going on. I checked the news this morning, couple different stations, and tried to check the internet, but it wouldn't load. I've been having loading problems, so I have no clue what's going on, but I thought it was a little strange. Could have been anything. Could have been maybe there were a lot of times people out here will, if they're criminals, they'll go running, like either with their cars or off into the woods or whatever, and then they'll have like search helicopters and all kinds of stuff trying to find people, stuff like that. But I don't think it was that. It sounded more like probably a fire, I'm thinking, so I don't know. I'll tell you what's on my mind in a minute besides that. Oh, first, boy, I'm always confronted with people with the crabbies when I'm having a wonderful day, and I do. I wake up happy almost every day. We might get interrupted here. Maybe. Sounds like it. Give me a minute. I'll be right back. No, I thought I heard somebody pull up. I kind of thought I had a premonition of somebody coming and bugging me today, but nobody's there. Might be though. So if I have to get up again, I will, but hopefully not. I'll try and keep my concentration here. Okay, totally happy, and the water has been going wacky. And for me, that just means that I'll have to do dishes by hand, which normally probably people wouldn't think is a very big deal, but with osteoarthritis and then when I was a kid, I worked at a vegetable farm. That's when I first started noticing I had kind of arthritis because I was packing cold carrots. I worked there a couple different times in the summer, and my hands would hurt after work. And I couldn't figure it out when I was a kid, but now I know what was going on. But so so anyway, that just means with the water being goofy that I'm going to have to do boatload of dishes by hand, which I worked in a kitchen and school and other places and getting wet and cold. And today I won't be getting cold though, I'll be getting hot. It's very hot and humid out. It's going to be really terrible later on today. But I'm still in a happy mood, but confronted with good morning and blah 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 type of thing. It kind of weighs on me some days, but and after the third time that he was doing something like that. I finally said, in about 10 more minutes, I'm going to be screaming at you, and you're going to know why. Because usually I would let it slide, and not say anything. Then, if I did raise my voice out of irritation, I would get accused of, why you mad, or all this, the narc runaround bullshit. So anyway, I'm still in a happy mood. That reminds me of what's going on. I watched Professor Bachman, and he was talking about how narcissists try and involve their partners in triangulation and cheating and that type of thing. Yeah, they sure do try that shit. See, being disgusted by watching how adults acted around each other when I was a little kid, and it did disgust me. It still disgusts me. I've never changed, never. And I believe cheaters think everybody cheats. That's my opinion. I really do feel that way because of the way I've been treated in my life. But if you knew how many times these creatures have tried to set me up to fall like them, to me, that's falling. Even if I let them go do what you're going to do, and don't participate, I'm still holding my integrity. This is the value of myself. I've always only wanted one relationship with one intimate partner, and I don't share. And like I put on the post that I shared, I don't play nice when it comes to this. I do not share. I do not flirt. I do not accept flirtation. I cannot fucking stand it. And if you do that in front of me, you will have your eyes open wider than they've ever flippin' been. Let me guarantee you that. I'm gonna still talk on this right now. I hate that shit with a passion, and I did, like I said, when I was a little kid. This is not anything new, not to me. So yeah, here we go. Just a minute. Now, I don't know if it was my ex and his brother, or just his brother that kind of liked me too, but I mean, no, my ex didn't like me. But my ex was at a bar, and his brother had been staying with me and us, and came home and told me what was going on with my husband, and the look on my face. He gave me a hug, and it's like, I'm just like, my little brother in my mind. But that isn't what was going on in his mind. But I mean, just and certain times that I've like even walked away from parties. I walked 17 miles down a mountain just to get away from this type of stuff. I mean, stuff's going on, I'm out of there. I was at a bonfire I had got invited to for many years. My friends had begged me to come to this party that they always had about this time of year around my friend's birthday, one of them. And so I went, and things turned into like a Sodom and Gomorrah type situation. I walked, you know. I had my youngest son with me too. See, now that's something that really bothers me. When these type of things are going on around the kids, that fries me out. You'll never get the same old me after those type of things happen. Not ever. So, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I still got more to say on that. That's some disturbing shit to me. It reminds me when I first moved in with Doug. I had my own house, but I moved up in here. And he had this sign in his shop that was like swingers. And he tried to say it was like for baseball or whatever. I said, yeah, but I don't like it. Could you like, put it away so, like, when people come in they shop, they don't think that I'm associated or you are with something that he tried to pretend he didn't know what the term swinger meant. You know, that's rich, isn't it? And he's 8 years older than me. So, yeah, he knew. But just play stupid, you know. If you can't just be honest and play dumb, that'll work, you know. After a while, I started really understanding, yes, he knew just what that sign was, you know. But, you know, and then the flirting thing, people think that it's harmless. It's not harmless. There's no need for it unless you have intentions. See, now people, you say you have like fantasies or deep fantasies or whatever. If something comes into my soul, I know that's from Satan. I don't accept it. So, um, I don't know what a fantasy is to somebody else. Wouldn't be the same for me. I have a set perimeter of what my past was and what my future is going to be, and flirting and triangulation and cheating and all that, none of that has anything to do with me. If people want to do that around me, they can go somewhere else and do it. They won't be doing it in my house. I'll guarantee you, I don't care how big you are, I will get you out my door. If I ask you nicely, you don't leave, you're going out. You won't be the first big thing I threw out of my house. That's a fact. I'm just saying, you know, you'd be surprised. I'd ask you nice first. I'm different. I'm very unique. I know that everywhere I go. I know that, and everybody knows that about me, you know? So, and what made me this way was recognizing the fallen state of adults when I was a little kid. All I ever wanted was a real family, like a mom, a dad, and I didn't even want kids back then, but when I met my husband before Doug and decided to have children, well, that was out of love, and I thought, made our sons out of love. Yeah, I'm naive. I'm getting stupid in a lot of ways. All the ways that God says is good, you know? If that makes me stupid, it has. To be so trusting in an untrustworthy world. How would you like to be me? Maybe you would. Maybe that good example would be okay for you, you know? But if you have somebody that's trying to bait you into a fallen state, falling below your own integrity, don't go there. You're never ever going to rise them up if you go there too, you know? And even if they don't rise up, you didn't fall, you know? So don't let them take you there. That's my advice. I mean, you're going to do what you're going to do in your life anyway, and you may not even believe a word what I'm saying, you know? But I'm telling you this on my soul. I do not flirt. I do not like it. I flip and detest it. Anything close to any kind of bullshit like that, and you're going to get what people around me call the barb look, and you are not going to like the look you got. You are not going to like the words that come out of me after that, and I'm not going to hold back. I don't care where I am or where it happens, who's doing it. If it's around me, you're going to know that you crossed those lines around me, you know? Just, I mean, okay, let's put it this way. I'm not going to go into like a singles bar or something and start ragging on people about their what they're doing in there. You see what I'm saying? But if I go to like oh, let's just say I go to an award meeting for somebody that I care about or whatever, or some kind of conference meeting or some kind of um company party or whatever. If there's those types of things going on around me, I'll disrupt the whole thing. I can either make the party beautiful or I can break that thing in a heartbeat, and I will. I will make all the scum suckers suck their scum, and you'll know it too. And you'll be affected by it, and you won't ever forget it. You need to experience that up close to believe me, you know, because the people that have, they do. And I do hold that a monicum of respect out of those type of people. They try and laugh it off. They try and avert their eyes. Their mouths fall open. All kinds of reactions. It's just been beautiful. Except, yeah, they try to kill me too. All kinds of reactions just for not playing the reindeer games with them, you know? Because to me, it's not a look but don't touch type of world. You don't even look. You avert your eyes. Like I say, if you're in a singles setting and that's the format of the situation, that's to be expected, right? But when you're married and you think you're supposed to feel safe and you've never been protected, well, I protect myself and I'll protect everybody around me, whether they like it or not. And if some do and they gather that from me, that's a good thing. Then I did a good deed, you know. But I did get my exercises done today, some laundry done, and fed my kitties and got them water out and got quite a bit done before Crab Ass even got up. So that's a good thing. I just spilled coffee on myself. Yes, pink is not a good color to spill coffee on. Like, sorry, excuse me. I'm a goof. I don't care. I am me. I was lucky I started doing some sit-ups last week. Was extremely hard, and I used to do at least 100 a day. I do them in half segments, like the bottom half first and then the top half, you know. And then you can incorporate the whole thing, but I prefer to do stretches. After that, it's less strenuous, and then there's a Chinese pressure um, for a minute that you go around on your stomach in one direction. Um, Let me see, it would be counterclockwise, and then hold your hand flat for a minute. Put your arms down at your side and envision that you're relaxing all your muscles, even if they're tense from your sit ups, and this works. Well, I hadn't been able to do after some accidents and things, working on my core like that, but I was doing my push ups and my legs and doing everything else around my injured areas. And now I'm working on some really injured parts and I can feel some progress. So it's good. And yeah, anyway. So I'm feeling better. Then I've kind of cut down on my sugar. And last night I had a little salami sandwich and some cashews, about, a quarter of a cup, and about a handful of potato chips, which not the best, but and some salad. So that wasn't like real extreme anything, not a huge meal, but just trying to stay away from sugar too, you know. But and even if I have some fat, you can burn that. You know, you got to have some kind of sugar and fat in your diet. And like Dr. Baker on the carnivore diet, yeah, he can get his fat from the meat he eats, you know, and the protein. And if you're into nutrition, you know how even protein like steak has a certain amount of carbohydrates and sugars in it, you know. You really don't need any extra fats or sugars in your diet besides that. And vegetables can turn into sugars, so can carbohydrates. 2% milk turns into sugar quicker than whole milk. There's all kinds of tricks to keep yourself healthy. Yeah. So I'm still in a good mood regardless of whatever, whoever tries to do what to me. And they keep trying. Pour it on. I can handle it. And when I can't, I guess I'll die. And it's not that you would have won, because you'll know you didn't. You know, you just know that you tried your whole life and failed some more, and failed again. Because you're not getting me to become less than who I am in my heart. I don't always do what God tells me to do, but I think I try more than anybody I know. I don't know. I don't know anybody who tries as hard as me. Whether you believe in God or not, it's a good rule of thumb just to be a decent human being to everybody else. And I have a laundry list of rules inside my heart and soul that you might even not even realize if you infracted upon that. But then, of course, you might, just to see what my reaction would be. Well, you got one, didn't you? So, I feel like a unicorn in a field of horses, you know? I do. I always have. I mean, I'm me. I know. They know, you know? I mean, it's hard for people to know if they first hear a person like me on the internet or something. It'd be like, oh, that can't be real and that's not true or whatever. Think what you want, you know? Yeah, just been an incredible life. And it is lonelier than people who will join in, even just a little bit, even if it's sort of, even accepting flirting. Um, I don't do that. And it makes people different. And when people meet me, they're really careful. They can just take one look, and normally it takes a very incredibly stupid person to take it any further than the look in my eye. If you can get beyond that and still be stupid around me, you're flipping incredible. And I'm going to let you know about it. And I'll make myself so incredible beyond that that you won't recover. That's how that goes. I dare you, just try it. Just come and look me in my eyes and try and pretend I'm not who I say I am, and you will find out real quick exactly what I bring to the table. Want to try? Just write something stupid here or make another video and try and think that anybody can be gotten in different kinds of ways, and I'm going to show you exactly how you're wrong. So in other words, just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean you have to, you know? And a lot of people don't realize that those first initial icky thoughts aren't yours. If that's not who you see yourself to be, if you do, well, then that's your father, you know? But those icky thoughts, that's not my father, you know? My father is the one who says, stop being stupid or I'm not going to like you. And that's my words to people. Stop being stupid or I'm not going to like you. You know, that's not a lot to ask. Isn't one good, precious friend full of integrity possible for me on this planet? Is that a lot to ask out of a whole world full of humans? Isn't there one other like that? Because that's how it's meant to be. We're meant to have self-control. How can a woman have more self-control than all the men that she's met? And I've been around the United States and a couple foreign countries. Met a lot of people. I met a few that are pretty upstanding. A few. But why is that? Why is that lacking in our society so much? Self-control. Why do people take pride? Do you take pride in, like, if you flirt and you make somebody laugh or something with your stupid ways and they're just as stupid as you, did anybody win in that situation? I mean, I sit and I watch. To me, it's like watching creatures in a zoo. And I still say, none of y'all with that in mind have ever made love in your lives. And if you do, you're making love to yourself or a stranger. Or, yeah, more yourself. It's like Satan having sex with himself. That's the way I look at it. You know, say whatever you want. I'm just telling you the truth. And you think I'm not hated for how I've always been? You think you're a target? Perhaps, depending on who you are. Maybe that's, maybe you're undercover. Secret agent man, you know? Gotta be part stupid so they don't really know who you are. Is that it? I tried that when I was a kid. I went through my goth days. I didn't like it very much. It wasn't the persona I wanted to put out there. Oh, the other day I was talking about what it's like when, like the Dark Cabal and their witchcraft and all that stuff, and what it was like being raised by people so very different than me, and that whether or not if I still had love for them didn't give me Stockholm syndrome. Um, no, it was the love in my heart, but I still don't want to be around those people. But I have a certain amount of love. I don't have much respect, but the love for humanity is there enough to care about people. I just am sick of people hurting me for their what they consider pleasures. I'm waiting for my pleasures. I know God's going to fulfill my needs for eternity. And this is a temporary thing and a great big test. And I am passing this test. And I don't like being tested. It makes me testy. But I'm dealing with it with grace too. You're going to see it all come down right here. So it doesn't even take that much work. Once you get on the train of moral values, you can't be kicked off. That's, you keep that for yourself. And if you've been in the state where you can pretend that it's not a big deal, and you can pretend that it doesn't hurt your soul or tarnish you at all your funny little ways and your ha-has and the openness of all the liberal minds out here, keep pretending that it doesn't hurt yourself. And you can keep pretending you can keep hating me for not joining in, and you can pretend that what I'm saying isn't true about myself. If it makes you feel better, keep pretending all that, or rise to the occasion of what I'm trying to teach you here. You're never going to help anybody else on this planet ascend unless you want to be stuck in a time loop forever. Don't you think there's better things? If this is good and this is cool, and we have promises of more cool, wouldn't you want more cool? Can you wait? Or don't you believe that you're going to exist after this? Do you have to fit it all in right now because there's nothing else? Just wondering your perspective, Who's to say? I just know what's right for me, you know. And I just, yet again, when I go out in public, and I have to be really careful because I could think somebody's being nice when they're actually not being nice at all. And they can think that my being nice is being flirting when there's absolutely no sexual thoughts behind that. When I get confronted with that, I have a tendency to get a little pissed. But I've had to control that a lot. It's not even close to anything. And then people battle back at me because they got caught. Then the only thing they have to resort to is coming back at me through anger and maybe high intelligence, trying to put me in my place because you couldn't put me in your place. Well, that's not going to work either, don't you see? Do you have eyes to see and ears to hear what I'm telling you? Even my own kids, they don't look down on me because of this, but they don't like me too much because of it. because they fell. But they had the greatest example not to, walking in human form in their young lives. Maybe somebody will or has excelled beyond that. Yeah. There's other reasons why kids might hate their parents, but it usually isn't because they're a very good person, is it? Try that. Maybe because they don't get their way, and a lot of it too. Like some of my rebellion was because it's like do what I say, not what I do type of thing. That didn't go over very big with me either. In order to tell me what to do, you better be doing it yourself first. You know? That's a fact. So I've had some battles in that area in my life. And people can say that they feel lonely or whatever. Not like that. Not even close. That's where even Satan himself would stand up for me and say, you know what? Yeah. That's where, like, the thing in the scriptures where Michael stands up. Yeah, because even he couldn't bear any more lies towards me, you know? He knows. God knows. Everybody else should too, because it's not natural to have lust outside of a marriage. It is not natural. If the man's leading the woman in that direction, that's not a cool thing. And if the woman cannot control herself, you better learn to teach her how. I know prayer might help. It hasn't really, well, it might have helped in my life. It might have. Maybe things could have been worse. Who knows? So I'm not saying prayer doesn't work. I'm just saying men have to be the leaders in this thing. It shouldn't. Um, if you have a household and you're going to let somebody that's dangerous to your family in your heart, in your house, or somebody that could hurt your wife's or your children's hearts or minds or that type of thing, you have to be very selective as the head of that household who you let around your family. Now, a woman should be that too, you know. And there are certain people, it's not like we have to totally shun them or talk down to them or anything else, but you can make it plain. I'm going to say it like it is in this certain message for somebody else. If my husband borrowed money from a stripper and that would give me the idea that that was okay, that was an okay way to make money or to accept that money from somebody, that to me, I can only speak on my that would make me feel like I could have went and been a stripper and you wouldn't have needed to borrow money. And that to me is a woman's reaction to, like, say, that scenario. If that type of thing were to happen, that could throw off marriage before it even begun, and if she's in love with the person, it's still gonna go with her head regardless. You might have created a monster. Boy, it'd take an awful lot of love and prayer to undo that shit. That's all I'm saying. And that, like I said, was for somebody in particular, and that woman isn't me, as far as I know, and I'm not her, but I can only tell you from my perspective. You know? That would be really hurtful, and I had things like that happen to me, and I know just what I'm talking about, at least from my perspective. That's just one scenario. I've had hundreds of things that I couldn't digest. I didn't even wanna try and wrap my mind around somebody else's way of thinking when it just I should have been protected from things that I wasn't protected from because I was that tender-hearted. But men aren't going to realize that because they're thinking, oh, well, this is still a good person and there's nothing wrong with them. And, well, but there is and there was, and I'm just pretty sure what I'm talking about, you know? I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, right? Maybe um, people just hate me because they just want to hate me because I'm not very likable, you know? Who knows what they think, right? You know? So if you're living with the narcissist, I guess the best you can do is hope that they can find the fulfillment that they need in their lives without involving me or you or whatever. Hopefully they can find some satisfaction from their actions. I'll have one more cigarette with you and you know. So I live in a really funny type of situation where I don't quite fit in, like with the church crowd, and I don't fit in with the party crowd. And even different types of moms that their thoughts might not be as strong as mine, but their appearance is different in the way they act and talk, except for their loose, stupid, slutty ways. And then they can treat me like I'm somebody I'm not because they have this pretense going on in their life. So I don't really fit in at all anywhere. you know, it's been a very odd life. But then it is better out in the country because I don't have to be confronted with a whole society full of people, but I'm confronted with somebody that is involved in the whole society as far as that mindset goes. Um, he's more closely related to all that, you know, so relatively speaking. You say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, I found out that's not true. Um, when I met Doug's dog, I taught his old dog new tricks. So I found out that that saying isn't true, at least with dogs. Now, human beings, if you're set in your ways, I don't know. Maybe you don't want to learn any new tricks. Maybe you're just good with the ones you know, you know? Well, anyway, speaking of tricks, but when people do flirt and do that type of thing around me, it does make me feel dirty. I just hate it. I want to just scream. I used to get shocked, and then people would kind of think that was very funny. They loved that reaction. Yeah, they did. I went through my phases, and then I get angry. Now I'm just like, just stay away from me. Just keep away with all your stuff. Also, they do have a tendency to still believe that I'm like them no matter what I display right up in their faces. They, the refusal to see me for who I am. Yeah, I used to get angry about that too, but now I'm just like, okay, if your brain isn't big enough to actually grasp that, I could probably help you, but I'm trying to help you. So, yeah. Once again, it's called integrity, moral values, virtues. Where have all the virtues gone? Long time passing. That's not a song, it's part of a different song. Where have all the flowers gone? Oh, I had too, a lot of people may not know, on my video yesterday, I put Rex Bear from Leak Project. He'll say, buckle up, buttercup. Um, a buttercup, if you don't know, is a type of flower. It's related to like a snapdragon, but it's not. But it resembles one. It looks like a little daffodil, sort of, if you know what they are. That's what a buttercup is, a flower. So buckle up, flowers, yeah. I have a theory that Satan puts cheaters with an honest person to see if that honest person is going to fall and will bring nothing but those type of people around you. Just if he can't make you fall, he's going to irritate the hell out of you. If you join in, you're going to feel like shit, or not. Then you know who's your daddy. Yeah. So all that's going on in the flirty world isn't so fun for me, and it never has been. I used to cry about my parents' stupidity and through marriages and watching my children with a big fail. Their lives aren't over yet. They can do better. Can be a brand new person right now today. All you got to do is ask God to turn that switch off in your mind. Practice it a couple times and then you'll know that that's not who you are made to be and that those thoughts are not yours and you don't have to own them. After that, it's a piece of cake. I'm serious. Because you can never be faithful to God if you can't be faithful to people in the world. If that's important to you at all. That's how it works. Well, I'm going to get this uploaded. I do love everybody with all my heart. Hope something I said touched your heart. You can rebuke, rebuttal, come back with all your crap. Do it. Give it your best. You know? Especially with larger minds that come against me. You're not a challenge. You remind me of playing jacks, if you know what they are, them little spiky things. You got the ball and you try and pick up as many jacks as you can. You bounce the ball and pick up the jacks at the same time. For some reason, it reminds me of playing jacks. I don't know why. Just does, maybe because sometimes you don't get them all gathered up and the ball goes flying. I don't know. But that's how I feel when people come back at me with all the reasons why I shouldn't be judgmental and I should just keep my mouth shut and I shouldn't be looking at you like a bunch of jacks that I have to pick up and put back in its container when you're done using each other. I think I've made my point. But like I said, give it your best shot. And I got more for you too. I'm sure God will give me the words. So your Father will give you words. And I got words coming right back for you. So, or you can consider what I just said is true and how we're supposed to conduct ourselves on this planet. And that it's highly possible to walk with your head thoroughly high, not just pretending you do. You give yourself a reason. Has nothing to do with your looks or the shape or anything about you except for your integral parts. That's pretty important. So, all right, everybody, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at. Wherever you're at. Do you get that part? I wish you were like a little closer so I could really have somebody to relate to. Please, God, hey, hello. Yeah, well, that's one of my prayers. Love y'all. Talk to you tomorrow.